you were on a show here called This Morning in the United Kingdom, probably one of the biggest morning shows going. And you were on with Philip Schofield and Holly Willoughby, probably the two most famous television presenters here in the UK. What was this,
Right.
back in February, right? Got a couple of millions of views and all this good stuff. What was it like? What were they like in person? What was the whole like experience like going on This Morning?
Well, Philip was very abusive, and Holly was a drugs everywhere. It was none of that. I'm kidding. No, they were lovely, lovely people. It was quite a whirlwind type thing because it was last minute. They called me up and they said, look, we'd like to do you virtual, but honestly, by the time we set up the virtual thing, it'd be just as cheap to fly you out. So it's like, okay, I bounced off. I flew Iceland Air, bounced off Reykjavik into London,
Mm,
and put me up at a hotel, your standard stuff where you are they know where you are at every given second.
mm.
And to where once they pick you up in the morning, they take you to the studio, and then you are walked around by different producers. At no point do they leave you kind of alone to just kind of meander off.
Mm.
Bring you up to the studio. You don't meet Philip and Holly beforehand, because they're doing their show. They're
Yeah.
just doing it. You're off camera to do a couple teaser shots where it's like, oh, Mark's going to be on next, and blah, blah. And you have a chance, but it's all, people don't understand that it's still all about the producers. The on-air talent and the producers, very, very different. It's the producers that pull the strings.
Mm.
On-air talent is just, they might as well be Ron Burgundy.
Well, they're just puppets, right? I mean, they're just
Yeah,
actors. They go through the motions, right? That's just the.
they are literally just actors that go
Mm,
through the motions. Literally, people make fun of the Ron Burgundy thing.
mm,
It's, where he reads the teleprompter
yeah.
no matter what. I'm Ron Burgundy. Because he put a question mark at the end of it. I mean, that's what they do. No offense to them. I think they're great people, but that's their job.
Mm,
And so the producers, they're the ones that contact you. They're the ones that they bounce off the ideas and see if it's feasible. And then when you get in, and I did have a chance of off air. Once the camera's cut, I had a couple minutes with Philip and Holly. I thanked Philip for finally being bold enough to come out, because remember he came out
mm.
actually just literally the weekend before I got there.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah. It's
okay,
like,
okay.
oh wow, this is pretty good. And I said, good for you. Glad that you didn't just wait until you retired. And then and again, I was lucky because I understand that Holly left the show not too much longer after that to do whatever she's doing now.
Mm,
And but it was great. It was a cool little thing, and I didn't mind. I mean, they had a battery of questions,
mm,
just a battery of different things that they could pick through if they wanted to. I didn't know exactly what slides they were going to put on screen. I wasn't looking at the monitor at any given point. It was
mm.
over my shoulder. Every once in a while, they had a point just to make sure we were on the same page. But it wasn't that, for me, it wasn't that bad. I mean, it went a lot better than, and you probably don't remember this. That was not the first show I did over there. The first one I did was Good Morning Britain with
Yeah,
Piers Morgan.
on BBC. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that one, that one was probably the only time I was ever intimidated before going into an interview.
Really.
Well, Piers is notorious
Mm,
for just torturing people. If he doesn't like you, he's coming after you.
mm.
And I'm just bracing myself. It's like, oh my God. And then at the last minute, I find out that they've got one of our astronauts in the studio standing, sitting next to him. And at that point, I'm in a tough position because I'm
Mm.
coming in remotely. I was not in the studio. We did this remotely. And people were angry at me from my community for not being more aggressive and attacking the astronaut more.
Mm.
And I said, you don't get it. They go, you got a producer on off camera with a finger on his button, just waiting for you to screw up, waiting for you to say something off color to where it's like, oh, hey, we lost Mark. We'll try to get him back after the break.
Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
never come back.
Of course.
And so, for me, it was just kind of a redemption thing, just trying to develop, seeing how much we could bounce back and forth.
Mm.
Philip kind of played actually, they were both kind of playing the bad cop. They neither of them really embraced it, but at the same time, that was all right.
Mm.
That's not their job.